comparatively easier decision than the financial making decision, long-term decision. So large number of funds should be there. So it's a similar case that Sri Lanka also is facing this problem. So they have borrowed a lot of funds from these other foreign countries and committed to the long-term investments, which are not generating good return for this the country, so that the government can repay the loans again based on that. So because of this kind of rejections and lack of evaluation technique, only that the failure is realized by this other government. So even in the case of this organization, some organizations are taking this a poor decision in the long run, and finally it's become as a bankrupt and liquidated company. So a lot of examples are there in our day-to-day life. You can see it by the mass medias. So the type of investment decision, you can find the two classification of the decision. So classification one is all mutually exclusive. The expansion of this existing business, expansion of the new business, replacement or monetization. So these are the practical examples of, for investment decision. So usually when a person is running a business and generating a good profit, he naturally had a plan to expand the business, putting a branch, uh, putting a the wider premises to do that. Then the expenses of the new business. The existing business is different from the new business. So if you make an ice cream business, ice cream production business, so if you put the other type of business with that ice cream, if you put other beverage business, so it's a new business. You can start at the restaurant with the ice cream one. Replacement and monetization. So when you are using these other old assets now, old plant or machineries, now you can modernize it. You can computerize. What you're doing now. So if you run a studio that with the all techniques, manual procedures, so you can modernize this the studio by applying this digital technology and taking this video, photograph, and graphic, everything. You can replace it, modernize. So a lot of examples are practically available to understand the classification of this kind of in the investment decision. Then the other way of classifying these investments in the two way, that the mutually exclusive investment, independent investments. So definitely everyone will have these different business ideas, but all the business ideas cannot be taken parallelly. So only the best business idea would be taken. So if you evaluate the two ideas, taking one idea is called the mutually exclusive investments. You take one idea, the idea to be rejected. You can't take both. But in the case of the independent investments, you can take more than two alternative ideas. But to solve one problem, you can either do. But in the different problem, you can have a different uh, business ideas. So that becomes as an independent. So selecting one that cannot influence or rejecting other or selecting others. So based on this, the unique characteristic evaluation criteria that should be taken. So you must understand the thing. So if you take that as a mutually exclusive investment, that say if you want to supply your things to that other period, other area. Now you are running a business at say candy. So you want to convey your product market to Colombo. So what can you do that? So every day you want to have a delivery van and transporting goods from Kandy to Colombo. So that is one alternative decision. So instead of distributing daily, so what can you done the alternative is that you can set up a store at Colombo, branch at Colombo, and once in a time you transport the goods there, storing it and distribute in the Colombo area. So this alternative investment. So it's called the mutually exclusive. Then one more one is coming under the classification contingent investments. So if you are going to do a big investment, some other supplementary investments you want to complete. So if you want to put a factory at the remote area, so you must make arrangement for getting access to the remote area. So you want to arrange for this the power supply and the transport and the water sanitation, everything you want to look after that. So that is not a part of your factory. Right? Access for the contingent investments. So those are the examples for these kind of the investments projects. So investment evaluation criteria you must learn. So without the criteria you can't evaluate anything. So even in the degree program, you must have the criteria for evaluating your performance. That is the GPA system is there. Then only you can understand your level of the status of your study. So likewise, for evaluating the profitability of investment, you must have some criteria. That is the techniques. So the whole things of this lesson is about to study these techniques. So the steps start from the estimation of the cash flows, then estimation of the required rate of return, then application of the decision rule, and these are the three steps. But a lot of other lessons are there is to estimate the cash flows, to estimate the required rate of return cost of capital. Other two lessons are there, but it is given in the third year about these things. So it's a very difficult topics to be covered there. Now only you can learn about the how to apply the decision rules after providing all these two estimation, like recorded return, and etc. So the characteristic of a sound investment evaluation should be taken into mind applying that the decision rule. So this rule should maximize the shareholders' wealth. It should consider all the cash flow to determine the true profitability of the project. It should give the ranking the budget economy their true profitability. True profitability. Then it should recognize the fact that the bigger cash flows are the preferable to the smaller ones and the early cash flows are the preferable to partners. So all these are the criteria taken from the background of this the investment valuation techniques. Say for an example, it's maximizing orders wealth is more connected to the IRR and NPV. And the profitability is the ARR is there. Accounting rate of return, average accounting rate of return is there. Then the ranking the project according to the profitability. Uh, so NPV, the project having the more amount of this NPV should be taken first. Then the last one is that the bigger cash flows are the preferred to smaller one, and the earlier preferred to the later ones. So when you are applying these are the payback criteria, whenever you calculate that as a payback period as early, that should be considered first. So later you can recognize all these the characteristic of a sound investments when you are dealing with that the decisions regarding this. So the capital budgeting techniques in the literature are available like this. The discounted cash flow techniques criteria. Under that net present value, internal rate of return, and profitability index, discounted payback period are classified. Now internal IRR also will have this the extra modification of this IRR also is advanced coming under the advanced corporate finance. Profitability index is discounted payback depending on the discounted cash flow technique. Then the opposite to that not discounted cash flow, they are payback period normal, accounting rate of return. So all these techniques are the part of your lessons. So NBV is that uh, criteria is that it postulates that the cash flow arising at the different time periods differ in values and are comparable only when they are equal value are not.
අයියෝ හොයන්න නැති දැන් මොකද ඊට පස්සේ 18 දැන් ඔෆිස් වල යන්න ඕන ඩබල් මාස 18 දැන් මොකද මේ ඔෆිස් වල
So the problem of comparing the cash flows arising in the different time period from the project is a problem. So you can compare the money today with the money tomorrow. So everything should be converted into the today's values. So that is the concept behind this and the NBV criteria. So it should be in the equivalent one. So how can you make it the cash flows arising at the different time equal? By the two methods. Earlier you have seen the time value of money, that the discounting method and the compounding method. But this time you can apply that as a discounting method to make it the cash flows equivalent at a time period, single time period. So first the cash flows will be forecasted, that is new 1 year assignments. Then there's the discount the cash flow using the appropriate discount rate and calculate that as the PV, present value of the cash flows. Then find the difference between the present value total of inflows and present value total of the cash flow as NPV. Then you want to apply the DN criteria. If the NPV is more than 0, you want to take that is the DN. If it is not that, you want to reject the project. So NPV is given this formula. So NPV of a project is equal to the cash flows coming in the future. So it is discounted at the discount rate K. Then at the end there's a C0. It's that the initial cash outflow. Project cost is deducted from that to get that the excess money. So it is summarized as the summation of the discounted cash flows coming over the period minus U. So it will be continuing. If there are thousands cash flows, then it should be taken here. Then the acceptance rules for the NPV you would have studied earlier. They accept the project if the NPV is greater than 0 or in positive value. So you must reject the project if it is 0 or less than 0. But if the project giving the NPV is equal to 0, it is up to you to take the decision. You can take the accept or not, indifferent. So example is explained here. Suppose the project cost 25 lakhs now, and expect to generate in a year cash flow, year-end cash flows. 9 lakhs, 8 lakhs, 7 lakhs, 6 lakhs, and 5 lakhs for 5 years. So the opportunity cost of capital is the 10%. That is the discount recorded return for the project. So calculate the NPV of the project should be accepted or not, right? So generally you can consider that as an ordinary version. The cost is 25 lakhs, but you are getting this the annual cash flows 9 lakhs, 8 lakhs, 7 lakhs, and 6 lakhs. If you count on this total, 8 now 17, 24, 30, 30, 35. 35 lakhs is coming. So your now project is 25 lakhs. So you can think that 10 lakhs more, 10 lakhs giving more. So you can directly give the decision that to accept it, but it's a wrong decision. So what can you do is that you want to do a proper analysis, that is a discounting analysis. So that make the difference with the ordinary person and the educated person like you. So what can you do with that? So you want to get that as the future cash flows into the present value, right? Like this. So 900,000 is converted into the present value, and 800,000 is converted, 700 converted, 600 and 500,000 is converted in the coming at the big period. So altogether, you can take that as the addition of this the 2,728,000 total money. Earlier, you have calculated the absolute cash flow, the divide 1,000, 3,500,000. 3,500,000 you have calculated. You see that it's a very margin to that. So if you deduct this current cost 2,500,000, then you can have the NPV 128,000 only. But you are lucky that to have this the plus signs, so you can just recommend that the project X can be accepted as the NPV is positive. Suppose that the interest rate is higher, so record rate of return is say 12% or 50%. You would have ended with the minus, because you have the knowledge that when you are increasing this the cost of capital discount rate, the money value is declining very sharply. So even if you consider absolute cash flow, the present value is the right technique measure of this comparing the cash flows coming in a different period and taking the correct decision. So even you can apply this this kind of knowledge in your practical life, hmm, taking the future decision making. That, right? So if you want to buy a house, or piece of land, you can count on this the future values and the present value of this the land you are going to purchase, right? So don't count on this the future value. Future value could be declining. I mean, it is not a true values. So what is the advantages of this NPV? It consider all the cash flows. That is that. The true measure of the profitability based on the considered time value of money, then satisfy the value additivity principle. That is, NPV of the two or more project can be added together. If you have the two project, you can add the NPV of the two project and take the year. Then it is considering the wealth maximization principle. You know that the firm financial management will have the objective to maximize the shareholders' wealth, because when the managers are taking the decision in favor of this the improving this the market value of the ordinary share, individual shareholders holding. Otherwise, they will change that as a management. So indirectly or directly, they are working in favor of this the shareholders. The problem with that the NBVs are they require the cash flow estimation, which is a tedious task, mm, time consuming. Requires a computation opportunity cost of capital, which is also the practical difficulties. Also. These are the two lessons that you want to learn in the third year, advanced corporate finance, that is available for the accounting and finance students. Sensitive the discount rates. These are the problem of this NBV, right? If you increase the discount rate to at example 10 to 15, then your DEM would be wrong. Uh, Other way around. You should have rejected that as a project. Then what else? Other technique you can learn is the internal rate of return, IRR. You would have learned in the advanced level of IRR. So IRR is a discount rate which equates the present value of investments, cash flows, and outflows of a project. So in the earlier case, you have applied it at the required rate of cost of capital to discount that and the cash flows. But at a particular rate, you can discount the cash flow equal to zero. Equal to that is your the project cost must be equal to the NP, the present value of the total cash flow coming in the project. So you want to find out at which rate that is occurring. Then comparing your cost of capital, then the IRR, you can take the decision. So this is taken. NPV is equated to zero values. So you want to find out the K values as a cost of the IRR. So what is the acceptable rules of this IRR? So you can find that IRR if you are doing manually using the trial and error method. So you can apply the statistics the mathematical application. That is the algebra. Algebra also you can apply in the calculating this the IRR with the basic basic but the estimation the IRR is to be calculated with the multiple years cash flows, but it would be problem to apply that the mathematical model, algebra method. But in the computer application, so in the Excel application, so any other financial calculator can be used to calculate the IRR. But the objective of this lesson is not that. So it denies the opportunity to use that kind of instruments to IRR. Actually, it is to be done by manually so that you can understand the theory about how to do that. Even though the doing this the trial and error is time consuming and waste of time and etc., but you can learn it. If you feed the computer will give the results, but you don't understand how is it obtained. Hmm? So initially you must learn all these things manually. Then if you want to work in some places, you can apply the computer packages to get that as IRRs. But for the examination purpose and everything, you can't apply this. So the trial and error method is applied here. A project can be accepted if the IRR is greater than the required return. That is the thing, region rule you must keep in mind in giving you that one. A project can be accepted if the IRR is greater than the required rate of return. Then the project should be rejected. The IRR is less than the cost of capital, the required rate of return. So the required rate of return is the minimum the earnings the firm must uh, learn earned from the daily any investments. But if the particular project should earn more than that, right? Then only it can be accepted. So you can understand by an example too. So suppose that a project cost 16,000 now. I expect to generate a cash inflows in future for 3 years. 8,000 to 6,000. The opportunity cost is 12,000. You must calculate the IRR. Should it be accepted or not? So you want to follow the procedures, trial and error. First, you must assume the rate. At 16%, you must calculate the NPV. So if you are applying this 1 plus K is 16. If you discount all these things, you can end up with the minus 57. You have discounted more in that particular rate, assumed rate. So what kind of do is that you want to reduce the discount rate to be assumed 15% next because it is very close, 57. So if you apply that, you can have the NBV 200,000, 200 rupees plus. So you can assume that the IRR is between the 16% and 15%. 16 and 15%, which equate NBV 0. So to do that, there's a technique is called linear interpolations method. So IRR lies between the 15 and 16. So the IRR can be found by method of linear interpolations. So linear interpolation, what is the present value required 15, 16,000, you must NBV 0. PV that you have calculated as 15% lower rate, 16,200 you have calculated. So what is the difference between these 200? Then you want to take the present value at a higher rate that you have applied 16. So what is the amount? 15,940. Now what can you do? You want to get the difference between the higher rate and the lower rate. So this is 257. Now you can apply a formula. That is this thing, right? So you start with that at the 15 minimum rate plus the difference between the maximum and minimum into this 200 is a difference, total difference 257. So it's make it a proportions. So averaging it. So it is called the linear interpolations method. Averaging it linearly, assuming that the figures are linearly distributed among this range. So you can have this the 15 plus 0.8. So you can get the actual the discount rate of 15.8 where that NPV becomes 0. You can check it with that your present value calculations. The present value factors you can obtain at 15% and apply this. So this project can be accepted because it's greater than the 12%. Earlier, the cost of capital of the firm is only 12%. Now this project is giving the more returns, 15.8%. Yeah, it is equal. Estimated cash flows equal to the cost at this rate. So it is accepted. Then you can add this example 3. So here, project cost 20,000 now, and expect to generate an annual cash flow of 5,430. 5,430 annual cash flow is coming. This is annuity. Every year for six years it's come. Earlier cases, different figures. So the firm cost of capital 10%, calculate the IRR. So be back of the rounds. Right. So in these cases, you don't have to go through this trial and error. So you can take the uh, application of this your time value concept. So NPV, present value annuity factors shall be applied. 5,430 is an annuity is coming. So if you have multiply this one, you can get this the present value annuity factor of this the present value of the annuity over 6 years total. And if you deduct 20,000, you can get that as zero. So at 6 year, the R rate is not known. So it must be 3.683. From the table values, you can find out at 6 year at which rate this present value interest factor annuity is coming. So referring to the present value annuity factor table, R value can be seen that the IRR, which is represented by 16%. At 16%, this value you can observe from the table. So meaning that IRR is 16%. So DN rule is given as project can be accepted as the IRR is greater than the required rate of return. What are the merits of this IRR? We consider our cash flows in a true measure of profitability, time value of money is applied, and consider the maximum principal, etc. Demerits, cash flow estimations again needed, that the two IRR cannot be added together, and for the mutually exclusive project, either one or two project, it can give the different results. Multiple IRR also may yield some cases. Relatively difficult to calculate than this and the NPV. So next technique would be discussed in the next meeting. Today you will have an assessment in the past lessons. You can attend by opening the piece as early as possible, because there is a time difference between our time and the LMS time set down. It will be 20 minutes different. So better you keep opening that one on time. So we can continue the lessons with other techniques.